Good morning. It is 7:30 again, and I know many of you watch at different times. I just appreciate you watching so much. We are looking at three things that affect every decision you make, part two. We looked at how we see God, how it affects how we see ourselves and how we see others. It is the main thing, how you see God, or if you even believe there's a God. I mean, if you don't believe there's a God, how you see people is really, really warped. So we'll just start from the premise that you believe there's a God. How you see yourself is the second most important thing that affects every decision you make. And when I say how you see yourself, I mean really, not the image you want everyone to believe, but the actual you, what you really believe about yourself. We call this self awareness, and what's really interesting about self awareness is it's really hard to be self aware without other people having input. Very few individuals are actually very good at being self aware. And self awareness is just about realizing and knowing how you impact those around you. The individual that thinks he's all that in a box of grapes doesn't even realize he's coming across that way most of the time. The individual who sees themselves as the worm to be stepped on doesn't realize most of the time that's how they are seen by others. And so one of the things that I have done and made a habit of doing is asking those I am intimately connected to, very closely connected to, how I impact them, how they see me, what I can improve in, what I'm doing good, what I'm doing bad, what's just so so. And I love the honesty of the individuals I'm connected to because while we want to encourage people, if you're really going to grow, you need people who love you enough to tell you where you're lacking, where you think you're being a positive impact, but you're really being a negative impact. And so, how you see yourself, your self awareness, is very, very important because how you see yourself um, affects how you deal with life and the decisions you make. If you are one of those individuals who sees yourself as unimportant, insignificant, you will act accordingly. If you see yourself as someone who's all that and everybody ought to know it, it affects how you treat people and how you see ultimately God. The key, I think, to how you should see yourself is the way God does. And I love the Bible because God has such a way of balancing things out. I love 2 Corinthians 4:7. It says that we're basically glorified mud balls. It says we are earthen vessels, that's clay pots, filled with the heavenly treasure, that's Jesus Christ. And I love the fact that that's just so beautiful. We're earth and earthy, and God is spiritual, and He's in us. So we're glorified mud balls, but we are glorified. God did choose that to see us as the apex of His creation. He calls us the apple of His eye, the most important part of all things. You and I are so important to God. He calls us His beloved. I love to introduce and say, "Hi, my beloved," because I love the term beloved, to be loved. God calls us His loved. And so we ought to see ourselves the way God does. On one hand, we're just earthen vessels, we're just clay pots. On the other hand, we are filled with a heavenly treasure that He wants to pour out onto a hurting world. Two other verses that come to mind when I think about the balance of how you need to see yourself is in John 15. He says, "You can do nothing except you abide in the vine." Now, that we all know that's not true technically. We can do lots of things without God. We can create businesses without God. We can get married without God. We can have children without God. We can do a lot of things without God. What he is talking about, we can do nothing of eternal significance without God. Without staying connected to Jesus Christ, everything we do, everything we're involved in, is temporal. It's going to go up in a puff of smoke in the end. And the other thing he says is in Philippians 4, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And so we need a balanced approach to how we see ourselves. We need to know we're just mud balls, but we also need to know we are glorified mud balls. That we can do nothing of eternal value without God, but we can have incredible eternal impact with the Lord. You know, I say this at funerals all the time, but the only thing on this planet that has eternal value is people. Really, that's honest to God's truth, is just people. The cars we drive, the clothes we wear, they're all going to go away. One day, the best outfit you have is going to wax a car or be put in a dump. The car you drive, no matter how valuable it is, you may pay $100,000 or more for your car. It's going to end up in the junkyard one day. The only thing that has eternal value is people. And so we need to realize that if we want to have impact in our world, it's going to be about impacting people. And the way we impact people is through who we are, which is why, and I know it's become a cliche, I kind of like it though, that we need to be the best us, the best you that you can be, the best version of yourself, because the best you impacts your world the best way. And so you need to be evaluating yourself on a regular basis. You need to be asking those around you, people you trust, and you need to be willing to say ouch and change. Some of the things people have told me hurt, but they were right, and when I saw it, I was able to change it. You know, we really think we're one way. We hope we're one way and that people see us that way. We all want to be heroes. We all want to be superheroes as far as that goes. We all want to be the hero to our children and to our wife or our husband. We want to be great people. We want to be people who positively impact those around us. But you have to be honest if that's true or not true. And the only way to do that really is to ask other individuals how they perceive you, how they see you. One of the things that I learned, it hurt, but I've had to work on it, is that I talk too much. I'm created to talk, but I talk too much. Sometimes my impact discourages others from communicating. I've had so much respect and so much impact that I've been asked not to talk into some meetings, because if I say it's blue, everybody kind of says, well, I think it's red, but if Lee says it's blue, it must be blue. And that's a beautiful thing, a powerful thing on one hand, but it can be misused and abused. And what I have found is if I'll wait to talk, if I'll wait to communicate, better ideas come forth from other individuals. I would have never thought of that. But because I said this, they didn't say what they wanted to say, and the best idea never got heard. And so I've had to learn to purpose in my heart intentionally to be the last one to speak unless otherwise told. So my strength is also my weakness, and I've had to learn that. And I've had to learn that sometimes in meetings I should be listening when I'm actually talking. And while that hurts, it's a beautiful thing, and it's helped me to be a better person. It's helped me to mind out of others the ideas and thoughts that they have, and the ministry has benefited from it. And so I encourage you today to take a look at how you see yourself. Are you self-aware how you impact others? Are you truthful with yourself about who you really are, not who you want me to think you are, but who you really are. Because who you really are is the one that affects the decisions you make. You may tell other people that you're bold and you're strong and you're not afraid of anything, but if you're afraid on the inside, it will affect the decisions you make no matter what you portray outwardly. No matter how smart you want people to think you are outwardly, inwardly, you will know the areas that you really pulled a dumb thing. You did something really, really stupid, and you just need to be honest. So, we will look at how you see others next week. My encouragement today, my challenge today, is that you would ask others, be bold about people who will really be honest with you. Now, if you're full of yourself and arrogant, if you're mean, if you're angry all the time, you're going to have a really hard time getting people to be honest with you because nobody wants to receive that. But if you've been someone who's been kind to people, someone who wants to do better and has been humble about it, people will be honest to tell you areas they think you can improve on. And so I would encourage you to do so because only when you know how you really impact people in your world can you make the adjustments that are necessary for you to be the best you can be. I really appreciate you watching. Really appreciate you all the more for sharing. It's so important that you click the share button for us to be able to expand and to help others. I'm so thankful for those that do so. I'm eternally grateful for you being willing to do that. I'm looking so forward to seeing you next week. I have a meeting I have to get to, so I've got to go. Blessings to all. Love you so much. See you next week.